Hi, it's Moni, and welcome to Mind and Your Business. Hi, fam. Welcome to Mind and Your Business. It's a beautiful day. Heidi's in a great mood. So we're going to have a lively, wonderful, and valuable conversation today. So, today we were thinking about, what is it that we want to talk about and like what's kind of on our mind and what's happening. Let me turn my phone ringer off so that I don't be disruptive. Sorry. Unprepared.com. And I think like one of the things that feels obvious, but I don't think is given enough weight when it comes to your ability to be productive, your ability to be effective, to be happy with, especially like if you're selling real estate, mortgages, whatever you're doing, even if you're not selling anything, you just listen to this because we're friends and you feel sorry for me. Whatever it is the environment that you're in and the people that you're around and who you're associating with. So, I think it's a good thing for us to talk about that today and just ways that you can recognize when you're in the right place, which isn't static. When you're in the right place, it feels like this, you act like this, you vibrate like this. And then when you're not, and how it is to kind of pick up on those cues early so that you can make a change. Because I know like how many of us have spent longer than we should in relationships or in jobs where it's like, damn, I should have left that thing a year and a half ago, 6 months ago. I wasted 10 years in because once you're out of it, you're like, oh my God, I feel so much better. I'm so much more effective. I'm moving, but you really like, maybe it's you delay seeing it or you don't want to see whatever it is. So can we talk about that? I feel like you have experience around that. What do you got going on?
Well, I want you to talk about it, but
you always want me to talk about it, but today you're going to talk about it.
Kick it off a little bit. Like I'm divorced, so I've been married to my second husband for 33 years. My first husband I was married to for 5, and I was thinking about him today that I could certainly win people over that I was completely innocent in the divorce and it was not my fault and it was him and he's an ass. But that's just not the case. It was just not a good fit for us. And thank goodness it did come to a head and we did divorce because we're both so much happier now. So I feel like sometimes life's a journey, but I also think that sometimes we need to show grace towards people. So just because it was a bad experience, it's a bad experience for me. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean I need to convince the world that that's a bad person.
Yeah, like you don't need to go on this whole campaign because, he was bad for you, but it doesn't make him bad.
Right.
Bad, period.
Right. And then I think we've both been in situations where it was very toxic. And I'm not talking about my first husband, but it was a toxic situation. And I think we saw it and we didn't let it consume us. And I shouldn't have stayed as long as I did. Mm-hmm. So I did walk out pretty healthy, needed a minute to recoup, but I think I shouldn't have been seeing the goodness in the situation. I should have been seeing the red flags.
So why do you think that is though? Because I've done that. I've done the exact same thing. So why do you think what is it where it's like we can see these red flags? We're noticing the inconsistencies. We're noticing that wasn't cool or that's against what they said they were going to do, but yet we kind of make excuses for it. Why do you think that is?
I think it is because you and I both, we have a lot of similarities, you and I, and then we have a lot that are different, but I think we try to see the goodness in people. And we also have the self-confidence that it's not going to actually affect us. No matter what happens, you and I are always in control. We don't give our control to anybody. And speaking of that situation, you could see people who did give their control to it. Like Russell Shaw sent me a thing about a suppressive personality. Mm-hmm. It's part of I'm sure you've seen it too. Yeah. Part of Scientology. It's super interesting.
Right.
And boy, can you put people in that category. They are suppressing people. And you could see part of the effect that they had on people. It's like, I could see how he affected people that way.
Yeah.
It didn't affect us that way. Mm-hmm. Still hurt our feelings, but not to where we had the strength to get out.
Yeah, but what's interesting to think about is like these environments are places that we spend a significant amount of our life in. Like you go to work every day, I don't go to work, but you're in these environments. You're
Yep.
part of whatever it is. It's a company that you're a part of, it's a relationship that you're in, a friendship that you're in, and it is your time that you are spending proximal to something that either is helping you grow or it's not. And I know what you're talking about, that suppressive thing
Yeah,
that
it's
he sent.
interesting.
It is super interesting. And I think that, part of why that's interesting is it's suppressive to some people, but not suppressive to all people, which is like a whole kind of thing to think about. But do you feel that what do you feel is the responsibility of like the person? So it's like if we're sitting in this environment and we can see that this is impacting these people in a negative way, like is it our responsibility to say something? Is it our responsibility to get out of it sooner? Why wouldn't we? Is it a healthy environment when the way it's being run is designed to suppress so that people then stay like obedient and less than they could be? I don't know
Yeah.
how to think about that.
Well, I think that every experience we learn from. I'd be
Sure.
quicker to get out next time.
Yeah.
But even looking at peer groups, look at how many people do you know that especially when they were younger and even still as adults, where there's a group of women or a group of bowlers and
Bowlers.
just a,
Whoa.
a group of people.
Totally relatable.
and they're like, well, I don't fit in, or they're not nice to me,
Mhm.
Okay, that's fascinating. As an adult, get out.
Yeah.
Go find your people.
Yeah.
Why are you
You don't have to
Yeah.
be there.
Yeah, so it's really interesting, but I feel badly that I didn't get out of bad situations quick enough. But I think I'm smarter, even though I'm 60 now. So how many more opportunities do I have? But I will definitely get out of things faster.
You don't look 60.
Yeah.
You look great. Okay. Yeah, I think I probably feel the same way. I mean, I guess every situation is somewhat of a learning opportunity. So it's like, okay, that happened. Next time I'll do it differently. Next time I won't be so apologetic, to these red flags and try to explain them away. That's one thing, is like people show you who they are, like believe them
Oh
the
my
first time.
gosh.
Believe them the first time.
Yeah.
I
Okay, well,
struggle with that.
How do you feel about other people? Do you communicate to other people who are in a bad situation? Here's a great question. If one of your friends, couples, and one's being unfaithful, do you tell the other person? That's a toxic situation.
I think it depends on who I'm more friends with. Like if I'm friends with the cheater more than their wife, if I'm being honest, I probably wouldn't say anything. Because I'm loyal. That's one thing about me, is I'm loyal.
Oh, you're very loyal.
But I'd feel like I'd be like, hey, break up with them. Like you can do a thing called divorce. And then
Yeah.
you can have sex with every person you want. And there's and nothing bad can happen to you except
Yeah.
for HIV.
Yeah.
Like I'd probably do that, but I don't know.
Like, I'm a hard no. I would not say anything.
You wouldn't?
I wouldn't. So let's just say Jovan is stupid enough to cheat on you. I feel that you know that. I feel like deep down you
I'm gonna
know.
tell you something right now. If
Oh my God,
you
don't
knew
even
that
tell-
Jovan
Oh.
was cheating on me, you better say
won't.
something to me. Okay.
I won't. So Jovan's
I'm-
safe of keeping secrets
Oh
from me.
my God.
No, I won't. Because I feel like deep down, you know the marriage better than anybody. So I feel like you're just not facing it. Me telling you and forcing you to face it, you might not be ready for it. That's how I see it.
So you don't believe in if you see something, say something, like they tell us to do at the airport.
But you also know me. If you and I are walking down the street and we see an injustice of somebody being picked on, look out. We're getting
Yeah.
involved with complete strangers.
I pull out my switchblade real fast.
Or somebody being rude to somebody. Excuse me. No, we
Yeah.
don't speak that way.
Chill out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Calm it down. Okay. Well, I think, that's actually a really good question. What would you do in that situation? So I have a question for you.
Okay.
With like all of your experience, of all the places that you've been, the environments that you've worked, because you've been everywhere, you know, you've done everything, and you're, for people who don't know, Heidi is not a real estate agent, but she is connected in the real estate community through her background in recruiting, marketing for different companies, and like helping brokerages grow. And so she's done this role in several different places, huge places nationally. Now she's doing it nationally with the company that I'm with, Jason Mitchell Group, and that she's working for. So what is it that you're looking for in an environment for yourself? Like you have all this experience. What are like the key things that make you feel like I can thrive here, I can grow here, and I can trust the people that I work with?
Well, first of all, I'm not that smart. So as soon as somebody says that they need me, oh, that's a trigger for me. It's like I just don't want to ever let anybody down. And if somebody says, "Hey, we really need you over here," oh well, I'm going. You know, okay,
Okay. What are we doing?
let me come fix it. And I'm not a fixer by nature. I'm really more of a, I don't know. I feel like I support people and promote people and help people. Is kind of how I look at my career that I'm fortunate on. Now at the Jason Mitchell Group, they did not need me, but there's such growth there that's interesting to me. And coming in and having a voice to be able to clean up systems and get it to, they have everything. So now we just need to figure out the easiest way to implement it. They're implementing just fine, but we can do it so much better.
Yeah. So what about the culture though? Like I'm asking, like, what does it need to feel like in order for you to feel like I can go there and be the professional that I want to be? Because I think that's what's helpful for people thinking like, I'm in this place now. I don't know if I should be at XYZ brokerage, or I don't know if I should be at wherever I'm at. What are some signs that they should? What are the things that you would look for where you would feel good about being somewhere?
Well, I think it's where this conversation originally started when we were talking about it, is that you want to be where good people are. So you can see, especially in real estate, there are 100 ways to be successful in real estate. Mm-hmm. So there are some that do it by building a downline. There's some that do it as a solo agent. There's some that do it as a team. So find what's authentic to you and then go be around that. You know, so why I like the Jason Mitchell Group is that they have such high standards for the realtors, and the realtors just automatically become more. You know, they're responsible for handling these referrals. So it just, their business just becomes more, and then that takes it to the next level, which then, as you know, when you reach a level, then it just explodes.
Yeah.
And then you reach the next level and it explodes. And so I think that's what JMG does.
Okay. So I think that that's an interesting way to think about it. So looking at who is there and who do you resonate with there. So what type of agent are you, or what kind of business are you trying to build, or what do you want your business to look like? And then finding agents that look like that, and then where do they go is that what you're saying is like a great way to at least start to figure out? So then if you're already in it, then if you look around and you don't see people really doing what you want,
right?
So that would be a red flag.
Right. And this brokerage isn't a good fit for some of the realtors that just want to do 1 or 2 deals a year and do a lot of classes, and that's great. They feel fulfilled and they feel professional, and that's great. This is not the brokerage for them.
Yeah. Okay, so then what are some of the things that you would consider to be important red flags at a place? If an agent is somewhere, whatever, doesn't even have to be an agent, but you're working at a place, you're part of something. What are the things that in your experience have always turned out as being like red flags that should have been respected?
Well, I come from the corporate side of it. So it's, as soon as people feel that they are the ones that made the company successful, like I'm the one who everybody likes and I'm the one that does this, that's a problem. You have to be putting the company first and the agents first. And you see a lot of that in real estate, that it's ego driven. And Jason does not do that at all, which is really why he wants it to go by JMG and not the Jason Mitchell Group. Right. Is part of it. But he's a quirky guy. I mean, super smart and very humble.
Very different.
He's different. But what he's accomplished is crazy. You know, and I've seen people that it's all about them. You do it the way I say, and I just don't care for that.
Yeah, it's like those environments where we're only successful because I'm here.
Yeah.
Every decision has to go through me. At, at the end of the day, you know, all of these people should just be willing to follow anything I say because I'm the only one worth anything around here. That's definitely a red flag.
But we've worked at places, or been around places, I guess I should say, maybe not worked there, where people, it was about them personally. You know, that it was a couple females I was thinking about, and that it's all about them, and that they want the accolades, they want the attention, and it's like, okay, we're not here for you. We are here for the realtors. So it's a crazy industry.
It is, and I think that taking this like a step further, like into like an agent, if you're listening and you're thinking about your business, taking that to heart, I think is important, because really when it comes from the corporate side, it's about the agents. When it comes from the agent side, it really should be about the client. Yes. So making sure that the things that you're doing, yes, you're branding to yourself. You are the brand. But you have to always be leading with what is the value that my client is looking for. So they don't care that you look great in your dress with your tits out. They really don't care. I mean, some of them might care, that might get you in the door, but they're going to really care for the value that you're bringing. So it's that same concept, like taking your ego out of it and being able to look at it from a client's perspective of like, what do I need delivered to me to feel like I'm getting the value that I want for the money that I'm spending hiring you? Very pertinent conversation when it comes to August. Things are changing with the buyer agency commission deals. So it's important to really be focused on making sure you're not making it about you as much as about what it is that you can do for them. I think is going to be key.
Big. That's huge. If people could stop taking things personally and look at things objectively, wow, is that a game changer?
Yeah.
It's a huge game changer. I always say that it's power, you know, that I won't give my power to somebody. And I think in real estate, a lot of the brokerages do say, you're only going to be successful if you come and do our system. I mean, my God, how many times have you heard that? And that's just simply not true.
Yeah.
You know, so I could...
Which is another red flag, by the way.
Yeah.
So if you're at a company and they're saying to you, you can only be successful at this by doing things the way we do it or only on the leads we supply, that's a red flag, because it's that what they're saying to you is, we want you to give us your power. And by you being powerless, now we can control you, which you are an independent contractor. Last I checked, most of us want to run our own business. So it's important to be listening for that and just knowing the environment you're in. If your goal is to have your own business or to be that entrepreneur or whatever, then you're likely in the wrong environment. Now, there's some agents who just, honestly, they cannot make it without without whatever the thing that broke. And for them, that could be true. And that isn't suppressive to them. That isn't, because for them, it's like, oh, that's fucking true, because, bro, I can't get my mom to do something with me, you know? So there are those people. And so then that works for them. Yep. But if it doesn't work for you, you got to pay attention to how it is that you're feeling when you're in these environments and you're hearing these messages. And are you letting them seep in, and are you letting them become part of your own belief system? I think is like way important.
100%. And I think you have to find your place,
you
know, and that could be anywhere. Like you and I worked for a company called Deluxe Realty, and it didn't have name recognition, you know, so people never heard of it. It's grown to almost 800 realtors, and when we were there and still now, I mean, they're awesome realtors. Yeah. It's the independent, strong realtor that works there. And but when I was interviewing people when I worked there, that they were saying, yeah, but nobody's heard of Deluxe. And it's like, yeah, but the consumer does not associate Keller Williams or some of the big names. It means nothing to them. They don't even know that you're associated with that. Right. That's an internal jargon that we have. But for the consumer, you have to be the person. And it doesn't matter where you come from.
That's absolutely right. I mean, to a consumer, remember, they might buy and sell a home twice in their whole life. They're not sitting here and thinking about the names of real estate companies. So yes, does it have they seen that name before on stuff? Yeah, they drove by, they saw a sign, they saw that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that for them, that is the most important thing. Most important thing is they're going to hire somebody that they know, like, and trust, who is going to deliver them the value that they're looking for. So that is true. It's why that with Deluxe, why I loved being there was it was cheap as shit. It was like freaking, I don't even know at the time, like a few $100s per deal or something. I don't remember, but it was cheap.
was
They left me
buttoned up.
alone.
Yeah, buttoned
they
up.
got the, I get the contract, put it in the thing, upload it. Something's wrong, call the broker. They answer their phone. Cool. That works. Want to run they leave me alone to run my business. Was it, and who was it? It was all a bunch of people like me.
Yep.
So good environment, but okay, I wanted to do something different. I wanted to be somewhere where I could grow okay, so you go somewhere else. And that's what you do, right? Too. So it's like, I think being aware of what it is that you're wanting out of your business and what you're wanting your life experience to be like, and then being willing to audit it and make sure that you're not stagnant or just like, I'm here, so I guess I'm here. Yeah. I guess I'm here. I've always been here, but I do want more out of my business and I do want it to be different, but I'm here and I've always been here. So I guess I'm always going to be here. It's like, sometimes you got to leave the nest and get into a new environment in order to be able to grow.
Isn't that just life? That's one of the things that I admire about you the most is that you always put yourself into new situations and try new things, like tennis lessons. And
I tore my hip, which is still torn. Thanks.
But
tennis.
I love that though. It's like, that's how you grow. And some people, and I was guilty of it too, and I still am for a bit. I don't like being pushed out of my comfort level. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, I'm thirsty for change to see what other people are doing.
What a paradox.
It is.
Yeah.
But I will say that my career really exploded when I hung out with good people. And what I did is I just looked at the horizon and it was like, okay, Steve Chaders, super successful. John Foltz, super successful. Russ Shaw, super successful. I called, gosh dang, I can't think of his name. Jim Sexton. I reached out to all of them, like, hey, I just want to go out for lunch. Mm-hmm. All of them went out to lunch with me. They didn't know me from Adam. They all went out to lunch with me. They then became my friends just because I was super thirsty for everything that they were doing.
Yeah.
And except for Jim Sexton. Jim Sexton did not return my call 3 times. And then I found out that he was selling his business. And so when I did meet him,
You found out he passed away.
Yeah. So then when I met with him, I was like, hey, dude, you didn't return my call. And he was like, well, I happened to be selling my business, which was John Hall. It was a big company.
I'm a little busy, no name Heidi.
Right? So I like to remind people of that all the time, of Jim.
How cool. So you made a concerted effort to reach out to, so you said you lifted up your head, you saw the people at the top, you said, I'm going to go up there, I'm going to go hang out with them. And by doing that, what happened?
I organically elevated. Like, I remember having drinks with Steve Chater, which we do that probably once a month. We have cocktails. And he was saying how he paid off his car. And then he put the $300 a month or whatever it was into a savings so that when he needed a next car, the money was there. And in my head, I was thinking at the time, I'm never not going to have a car payment. I'm just never not going to have a car payment. And sure enough, it happens. I haven't had a car payment in 15 years. But if I didn't hang out with that person and I was hanging out with the other people who always had car payments, I would have always had car payments.
That is the truth.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it really is the truth. I mean, it's just about that, it's what we were just talking about, the environment. It seeps onto you. Mm-hmm. Whether you know it is or not, it is happening. So you have to be super aware of who you're around and what you're around, because no matter how strong you are or whatever, it is going to impact you in some way. And the good news is you can make you can make effort to make these all positive impacts.
Right.
What a brilliant thing to do, just to reach out to the best people and say, hey, can we hang out? And
I had to buy the lunches.
Yikes. These were rich people too. You were dealing with they were cheap. I'm going to talk to them about it. I know most of them. I'm going to make them Zelle you that money back. So, and did they just agree?
Yeah. They were all lovely, which I think that's part of the real estate community as well.
Yeah.
I think you have really great people in real estate.
Yeah.
I mean, who would think these were the top people?
Yeah.
I mean, Russell was selling what? $100 million a year, and that was all those years ago. How many houses is that, for God's sakes?
Every house only was $4, so that was a lot of money. That was back in the 1800s when he was doing it. I hope he's listening. So, no, I think this is good. Just thinking about moving forward and what everyone is facing, there's a lot of people who want to make changes, brokerages, and just kind of, I think a lot of like mulling around when is a good time to change? When do I know I should make a change? And I think what you said is really helpful. You know, the people that are there, are they mirroring where you want to go instead of where you are? And if not, like finding those people that are where you want to be. And maybe that is the place you should be, even if it is outside of your comfort zone, even if it is scary to you. Because if not, I mean, you're either going to be around the people with car payments or you're not. So but there's no in between, right? Like you are a product of your environment at the end of the day. We are, especially because you can get a sleep to your life. So not every moment you're going to be aware and active of every choice I'm making. And like, oh, is that impacting me or my thoughts? Like that's not possible. So you want to kind of create a way for you to be successful even when you're asleep. So that's why you want to put yourself in a place where even when you're not paying attention, the stuff coming at you is good shit that you could just let it come into you, right? Like that's what I think is a good way to think about it.
I love that. But you're really good at it though, of always wanting more. Always, well, you're fearless. So if anybody has ever done it, well, I can do it too. And I tend to feel that way. I think I shared with you before. Oh yeah, it was I worked at the Arizona Republic, and my friend Rosie made $100,000, and it was like, well, if Rosie can do it,
fucking Rosie can. I can do it. Shit.
So yeah, just hang out with good people that want who want the best for you.
Yeah, for sure. I think that it's I think it's an easy way for you to set yourself up for success, and it's an easy way to kind of hack and shortcut, just letting little goals start to become natural. Because it's true, when you're around other people that are doing stuff, it just becomes possible because you're seeing it happen in front of you instead of a theory of I heard once that somebody did this. It's like, no, I'm in a room of 5 people who did it. So now I kind of don't have an excuse. I've got the people, they'll show me the process. Most super successful people will tell you how they were successful. So, you know, it's just a matter of, are you willing to show up and do it? But now it's not impossible in your mind because you're seeing it. And I think a lot of times being able to see it is 80% of the challenge with anything.
I think once you see it and then you're around it, it kind of just organically happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember Tony Robbins talking about that. He went on something and it was $10,000 to go to this thing. And he barely had the money, but he hustled a little bit, got it. When sitting on the plane going there, he was sitting around with billionaires. Okay, that would be fascinating.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not sure I want to work that hard or be that crazy.
Sure.
And look at, he's, darn close to that. I
Yeah.
mean, he's an incredibly successful man.
Yeah.
So that's the same theory that we're saying. It's whatever level you have it at. So if you are working at McDonald's, which, no disrespect, even though I personally cannot stand that the minimum wage has been raised so high that it's actually losing jobs because the companies can't afford to pay $17 an
Yeah,
hour.
so now they're going to have computers do everything.
Right. And, they're saying, well, you can't raise a family of 4 on that wage.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not supposed to raise a family of 4 on that.
Because I don't want to keep them at that level.
They need to move on.
Yes, move on.
Yeah.
You are better than this.
Yeah.
Keep moving forward.
Yeah.
And I hate that people live small lives.
It is, and it's very, it's just so presumptuous and insulting in a way. It's just like, oh my God, pay for the value, pay appropriate to the value that's being provided, period. And if you have a job or occupation that can be replaced by a machine, you better figure out how to get more value. It's a lot of what realtors are facing right now.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of realtors operate basically like clerks, which is a very dangerous way to operate when you got AI over here that you let scan your face 80 times using the Facebook filter thing to make yourself into, a gladiator and see how you look. So now they got a whole scan of your face, and now all of a sudden there's an avatar walking around that I'm sure somewhere there's like real life, there could be a robot of you walking around who
Scary
can be
times.
the clerk for you. So it's like when you reward that inappropriately or overvalue it, it's a problem. It really is. One last thing just to say, because you said that I'm fearless. I'm not. But one thing I am is I know that nothing is permanent. So for me, like people, I think I've been at like, I don't know, 87 brokerages in my 8-year career at this point. Probably
Or
in real life,
5.
probably
I think
6.
it's 5.
Well, one of them I repeated. Deluxe I repeated. So,
Shout out for Deluxe today.
dude, yeah, contact us for more info on Deluxe Realty. But one of the things that I know, and I think a lot of people need a reminder of, is like, this is not permanent. If you go there and it doesn't work, then fucking don't go there anymore. It's not a big deal. People get really weird about that. Like, even the judgment I face as an agent, like, well, you get around brokerages. Yes, I do, because I'll change it. I'm willing to change it if it doesn't work. And then I'm willing to go back if it does work, because I'm not married to any of these places, because they ain't my husband.
No.
And
doesn't
even my
matter.
first husband, I got rid of him. If it doesn't work, then change it.
Yeah.
So be willing. So that flexibility is what creates the way where I don't have to be afraid of it, because it's like, okay, I did it. It didn't work. Who cares? What's there to be afraid of?
Yeah, so when I was at the Arizona Republic, we sold advertising, and that's, God, 30 years ago. And then newspapers went to hell in a handbasket. And so it was harder. And so they still had to meet that nut, that advertising nut.
Right.
And I still know people who were at the Arizona Republic. I mean, and they are just exhausted and have a terrible life. It rolls over into your personal life,
Right.
the pressure that you're under.
Yeah.
It's like, for God's sakes, there is more to life than that. Get
Yeah.
out.
Go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, good conversation.
Good conversation.
I feel like some good takeaways are being aware of the environment you're in and how that's impacting you, positive or negative, knowing that no matter what, it is impacting you. So being willing to take that objective step back and seeing, okay, hey, I'm in this environment and I'm performing in this way. Could it be better? Is this the optimal place for me or not? And it doesn't have to be win or lose. This place sucks for everyone. It could just be that for me and what I'm trying to build, this no longer matches, and that's all right. But it is your responsibility then to move yourself on, because if you don't, you are going to have that, whatever that is, seeping into you, and it could be actually suppressing your ability to be the best person you could be, the best business owner you could be, whatever context it is that you're thinking about this for yourself. So that's my takeaway. Did I capture it well?
I think you did. Also,
All
don't
right.
forget the personal. If you're hanging out with people that are not in love with you, find more people. That's
Oh, I love that aren't in love with you. True. Life is too short to be around
Too
people who
short.
aren't totally effing down.
right.
Right? All right, guys. Were you going to say something?
No, I was gonna say good ending.
Okay. Good ending. All right, guys. See you next week. Bye.